Welcome back to the podcast, and you're listening to the Traveling Past of a Single Mom. And today I have Joan.
Hi.
Hey, girl. Hey. Okay, so we are going to get started with my first question.
Yes.
First, I want to say thank you for coming on to my show.
Oh, thank you.
I do appreciate it. And I want you to tell people who you are and what do you do.
Okay. So I'm Joan Elmore, and I'm a part-time massage therapist, but I started getting really interested in employee development about 4 years ago. And so I started reading up on it and studying like what other business owners and managers do to motivate and retain employees. And then I started studying things written to employees to help them to be motivated and engaged in their jobs, and it kind of made me want to jump into that. I just got super into it. So yeah.
Nice. And how did we connect?
Oh, so you were doing a show with my boss, and I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, and she tagged me in the comments and said that I should ask to be on this, and I watched it, and and I was just telling you this, but I was watching how easy you made it for them to just like make it a conversation, and I would have normally been a little bit nervous to ask, but when I saw how just easy you made it for like I just felt confident that I could reach out and come on, do it. So yeah,
that's what I want, and I like to hear that because I want people to feel comfortable.
Right.
To come on my show and feel like, okay, I can do this, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be,
right.
No pressure.
Yes.
Just come on and we just have a good conversation. Yeah. So I'm happy you felt that way.
Yeah, and you were so kind when I asked us to go.
Yes. I'm trying to network and connect. So as she said, I like to also answer the question as well as far as how did we connect. But as she said, I had an episode with Chantel and Island. Shout out to my peoples. And Chantel suggested Joan as someone potential to come onto the show. So I just like how the show is bringing different people in in different ways. So many interviews that I've done, I'm just getting people from different interviews or people being tagged and they're reaching out like, hey, can I be on the show? So it feels good.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the process of you writing the book. What motivated you to get that pen on a paper? Okay,
I have always loved writing. The writing part was like easy to me. Like since high school, I wanted to be I wanted to be a writer, and I've actually talked about it since I was a kid. I didn't really know what I wanted to write about, but I just love writing. The part that I wasn't prepared for was I self-published it. And so editing, formatting, doing the cover, like all of that I wasn't prepared for, and that wasn't the most fun part. But I just watched tons of YouTube tutorials and stuff for that part. But the way I did it was just, I was working when I started writing it. Oh, I wasn't working. Anyway, I wrote a book. I'm getting confused because I wrote a book that I haven't published yet. And I was still working at Massage Envy, and I was writing that like on the side. But yeah, basically this one, Use Your Job, it took me about 6 months to like get it done. Like, and the writing part was like I just love it. Yeah, so it was the easiest part. And then with formatting and stuff, that was like super challenging.
And so when you're writing, do you like get into a zone where you just by yourself for a long period of time? Do you shut yourself off?
I can't totally because I have 2 little kids. So there's some times when my mom can watch both of them. I have 2 daughters. The oldest one just turned 5 and the youngest one is 3.5. And so sometimes my mom will be watching them for a few hours and then I get like in the zone.
Okay.
And and I usually like stand at my kitchen counter, which is weird, but I was sitting for a long time at a desk in my room and I was starting to get stiff. So anyway, I just like stand at the kitchen counter and just write, and I love it. And then when my daughters are around, I get interrupted probably once every 20 minutes. But like, and it's like maddening, but I'm having so much fun that I can pretty much just get right back into it after I take care of whatever they need.
Nice.
Yes, but.
And what are some of the hurdles you faced writing your book, and how did you overcome them?
Distraction was one. As a mom, like I said, I would be writing and I'd get interrupted constantly, And then, as a mom, you have so many other distractions and just like guilt sometimes about how much time you're taking.
Yes.
And so I sometimes, if my kids were around and I wasn't in that zone, like my mom didn't have, sometimes in the back of my mind it'd be like, okay, I left, this mess over here, or I left the laundry, or I left, or whatever, and I would think like, can I let my husband come home and see this house like this,
Right.
And so there was that, and then the other one I guess was all this stuff I didn't know till I got into it. So I finished writing the book and I was like, lovely, it's done. And then I realized I can't afford an editor. I can't afford to have somebody like format it, and I can't afford to have somebody do the covers. I have to do everything myself. And so those parts were hard because it's just challenging. Wow. It sort of felt like an art project in a way once I figured it out a little bit. But like I formatted Use Your Job the first time, and I did the best I could, and I published it. And then pretty soon after, I started thinking of ways I could format it better. And so I reformatted it and I saved like 40 pages.
Wow.
And so I republished it, and then when I was writing this one, the second one, As It's People, I figured out better ways to format that and save even more pages. And then now I want to go back to the first one, and then and reformat it. And then when I did this second cover, it looks so much better than the first one did. So then I redid the cover for the first one. Anyway, so it's been like a process. The interior is the same. All the information is the same, but I'm figuring out how to make it, just look better and just save space. So anyway.
Nice. But I mean, it's amazing that you are doing it yourself. At the end of the day, you have that under your belt. Like you publish, edit, made your cover, and everything. So it sounds fun, but not so fun. Not so fun. What are some of the most common reasons for people failing or giving up on writing their books?
I would say maybe it feels like something super daunting. Probably distraction is one, because you sit down to write and then you always have 1,000 other things going on, and then maybe just it feeling like daunting, not knowing what comes next. And that was something I had to sort of just block out, which is why I was able to get it done as fast as I did, because if I had thought ahead of time about how I was going to have to format it and everything by myself, I probably would have I would have taken a lot longer to do it, at least, because I would have been like, oh god, how am I going to figure this out?
Right.
So I think maybe they're thinking too far ahead if people are having trouble getting going. Yeah.
Other than writing books, what are things that you dabble in?
Oh gosh, dabble in. I have a lot of hobbies that I love. I love, but writing is like
the passion.
The biggest one. It's like the passion. So other than that, I love hanging out with my family and watching Netflix.
Yes, Netflix and chill.
Actually, I'm simple.
That's fine. So tell me a little bit about the business you started a year ago and what encouraged you. Is the book the business, or is the business something different?
The book is sort of part of it. It goes into, the business is sort of there's 12 steps to using your job to achieve a goal. The book dabbles in elements of all 12 steps.
Okay.
Like, this one. Like, I have the one that I wrote before that I haven't published yet is way more extensive, and it's like chapter by chapter, like each kind of step. And I just haven't done that one yet. Because I'm going to do it well. But anyway, yeah. Did that make sense?
It did make sense.
Yeah. Oh, but you wanted me to tell you how I got into it?
What, yeah.
So, like, about 4 years ago, my dad has a company, and my husband and I had just moved back from, like, a failed move. So we moved back into the area, and I needed some money fast, and I had worked for my dad's business, like, before, and so I offered my services, like, to help him, like, do some administrative stuff. And I was like, Dad, I'm gonna put some policies and procedures in place for you that's gonna make everything, like, run so well and be so efficient. Yeah, like, I was so excited about it. I really felt confident about what I could do. And I had this thought in the back of my mind, because I'd started getting interested in business development in general, like, a while before. So I'd been reading all these books and things, and I was like, I've got so many ideas, Dad, this is gonna be great. So he paid me, and I came in, and I wrote, like, manuals for different positions, and I put, like, all these, like, new procedures in place and things, and I just had in my mind that everybody was going to be like, where have you been all this time? You saved us. Like, I just thought I was being so helpful. And so, well, it turned out, and this has nothing to do with the quality of his people, it had everything to do with me and what I did not know, but nobody really, like, took to it the way I thought they would. Nobody really cared. And it's fine, and but I didn't understand it at the time. I do now, and it was all about me again, like, not them. But the employees, the people who were supposed to be using this stuff, like, they just didn't care. Like, they didn't have a reason to care. And so I was, like, super embarrassed and a little bit crushed. But it was such a good thing for me, because then I was like, gosh, why didn't they like this stuff? I don't understand. And so
they have us review the policies and procedures, but do we even really?
Right. Yeah, that's part of it. No one's gonna go searching for that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so I started thinking, I was like, oh, how do you get, like, I just started thinking about employee motivation. Like, how do you get them to, like, on board if a company wants to make a change, or, like, how do you get people excited about things? So I started just reading up on employee motivation in general, and the more I read, the more into it I got. Like, so interesting to me. And so then I started reading stuff like that employers and managers of, like, successful companies wrote about what they did to get their employees motivated and engaged. And then I started reading about, and, like, watching YouTube videos and stuff like that, but just researching. I started, like, looking into things that other people had written to employees to motivate them. Yeah, so I read all this stuff, and I started thinking, like, I just noticed that it seemed like everybody had the same few reasons that they were giving to employees, and they were saying, basically, they were either assuming that they were talking to somebody who loved their job and already was really motivated and wanted to advance there, or if they were trying to get the person motivated, they would say, well, we all have to make a living in this world. If you don't do well at your job and you get fired, that's going to suck, because, your income will stop. And that stuck with me, and I was thinking, isn't there a huge audience being left out? Because I can think of, like, so many jobs I've had where, like, I was not into it, I was not motivated, but I knew how to scrape by so I don't get fired, like, in most places. I did get fired once, but, like, it just didn't seem, like, motivating enough. Like, it didn't seem like there was, like, a good reason given. So I started, like, thinking about it a lot and looking into it even more, And just over time, I got this idea because I was like, gosh, what is actually in it for us? And what could keep us happy every single dang day? Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, because even if you love your job, you're going to go in on a day where, like, you know, you just found out your landlord is selling the house out from under you, or that, like, your mother-in-law is going to be here for 6 months, or that, like, you know, you go in sick, like, something. And so... So, like, what reason would people have to be, like, giving their best every single day? Like, there's got to be a self-serving reason. Like, we need that. And then I just got the idea. We can use our job to achieve a goal, and it makes so much sense. So, anyway, yes.
So, what are some of the things I want to know more, because myself.
Yeah.
Again, I have bills. I have to take care of bills. So therefore, I go to work every day. But I know for a fact it's not my passion.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But what are some of the steps that people can do to become more engaged?
Right.
What can bring them in to say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna change my attitude.
Yeah.
Please.
Right. Okay.
I need to know.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So the very first thing, and I just said it, but you have to know why you're there and why you should care, and it's that you can use this job to achieve any goal, but it takes specific, like, planned action. Like, you can't just go and do a good job, like, because we know plenty of people who do that, who don't end up happy where they are. Like, you have to make a, like, very definite, purposeful plan where you pick your job apart, basically, of everything it has to offer. And then, like, the way that you do it, I'll give you the steps in a second, but, like, the way that you do it and the way that I do it is I make it a game. Because when you go and it's a game, and you're seeing every time, like, you're playing against yourself, and you're seeing every time how much better you can get, it's so satisfying, and it makes your workday go by, like, so much faster, and it's so much more enjoyable. Like, I have walked in on days where I was like, there is no freaking way that I could be here today. Like, you know, I'm just not in the mood. But when it's a game, I have to turn that off, and then I'm, like, thinking, okay, let me see how good I can get at, like, turning on, you know, this stuff that I'll tell you about. But, like, you make it a game, and then, I was gonna say something else, but I can't remember.
Well, how do you make? Because you see, I work for a call center.
Yeah.
So I work for it's a pharmacy, but it's essentially a call center.
Okay.
How you make that a game? Because I'm telling you, girl, I don't know if you work in call center job, but when I get to work. And right now is the busy season.
Yeah.
So the phone calls are back to back to back to back. So all you do all day is beep, 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 beep. And it's like, I wanted to know, because I want to know, like, how do I find that fulfillment and that enjoyment in my job?
Yeah.
I need to know what will make it even possible for me to turn around and say, okay, you know what? I'm happy to be here today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to know.
Let me tell you. I used to work in the call center too, but I didn't know any of this stuff. And I had such a...
So can you think these things can help?
Yes. Okay, the only thing your job has to be is legal, moral, and ethical. And this stuff will help you.
Okay.
So this is how you use your job. And I'm just reading the steps so I don't leave anything out. So number one is you make a plan. And this already is so satisfying. Because then, like, when you know its purpose, and you go in with a secret mission, that's what I was going to say. Like, you can look around at all the crap and the things that everybody else is complaining about, and it's just like, it doesn't bother you like it used to because you have something better that you're working for. You know what I mean? Like, your secret mission. It's very satisfying. Especially when everybody else is, like, climbing all over each other to get whatever your boss is dangling out. Something better.
Right.
And so, yeah. So you make your plan, and you really, like, it's very involved. Like, like, you identify exactly what you want, like what goal you want to go for. This is like a personal goal. And then you think about your values, because you want to figure out how to make this job right now align with them more, because then while you're there, you'll be more fulfilled by it and happy. You think about the talents that you have, that you identify the ones that you're already getting to use at work, and you think about how you can use those more, but then you identify other ones that maybe you don't get to use as often that you'd like to be able to bring in, because that makes it more fun and more fulfilling. And then you think about the people there, like the connections, like, and who they might know, and you start paying attention to what they talk about to see, like, does somebody do something that I could, like, use? Like, you know what I mean? Might this person know something? You think about all the opportunities and advantages it might be able to give you. Right. And you just make it so purposeful for yourself. So that's number one. And number two is have confidence at work. And then there's like a whole it's like a whole list of like 15 little daily habits I did myself to get more confidence in myself. And so I list those in different places in my blog and stuff, but anyway, like, that's kind of an extensive process too, because if you don't believe in your ability to do it, then you're not going to, and you're not going to make it work. So you have to have confidence, and work gives us a million opportunities to question ourselves, like, constantly. So that's step two. And then step three is developing yourself with your job. And that's extensive too. So you think about, like, you identified your goal already. So then you think, okay, what skills and attributes do I have to have in order to be able to reach this goal? And then you start studying those on your own time, and then you practice them at work. So, like, one thing I was like trying to get better at was I was still a little bit, you know, I can be situationally shy. So I was like, okay, I want to get a lot better at going into work and, like, talking to people. I want to get better at talking to people. Because if I had it my way, like in all my other jobs, I would just sort of slink in and just do my thing.
Do your thing and go.
But now I had a reason to, and actually, like, it makes it so much more fulfilling the way that I did that. But yeah, so that's step three. So you study on your own time, practice at work. Step four is be in character at work. And this is how you're cheerful when you're not cheerful. So being in character sounds like terrible to all of us who value authenticity, but you are not pretending, you are practicing. So you take all the you identify all the skills and attributes you already have when you're at your best. You know, we're supposed to be at our best at work anyway. And so, and then you identify all the ones that you're studying. You've already identified them. You're studying them. And so you practice having all of them the entire time you're at work. And that's part of the game. And it's actually pretty fun. Like, so when somebody's getting on my last nerve, or like, you know, if I'm just not in the mood, it's fun to see how well I can do at, like, you know, being happy, and, like, you know, or if I'm just feeling like, you know, all of us can get in those moods where we just have zero energy, like, I'll just feel really shy, like, I can't think of one word to say to somebody, but if I walk in the break room and I know I'm at work right now, I'm in character, so I'm outgoing because I'm trying to practice that, and so then I'm, hey guys, like, you know, and what being in character does is it actually changes you to where you start becoming those things, because, like, it probably sounds like such a shocking crime to be like, you know, we're not being authentic, but I've heard so many times that attitude follows behavior.
That's true.
And it's so true. And it was how I went from, I used to be super shy, like, there was no way I would have ever done something like this, but I just started doing these 15 little things, like part of step 2, which was having confidence. These 15 little things every day, like smiling at myself in the mirror and saying thank you to compliments and later agreeing to compliments and things like that. And like, it just changed me over time. So anyway, so that's part of being in character. And it just takes your practice of those skills and attributes you want and it puts them on steroids. And work is such a perfect place to practice. Because again, we have to be at our best anyway. And so, and you get so many situations, like even the bad situations are the perfect time to practice. So when you're on a call with somebody who's a jerk, like it's such a perfect, or who's asking you things and you're like, what do I say? It's just perfect time to practice. It's so perfect. So that was number 4. Number 5 is actually like the number 1 way to qualify for moving up or getting a raise, and it's learn your company's goals and how you can deliver. So like then you like look into what your company's strategic goals are, and you think about like how you can demonstrate that you understand them and that you can give work that's like clearly in line with them, and make suggestions that are in line with them, and just you show how you can deliver it from your position. And like I said, maybe I didn't say this, you don't have to stay at your job to do these things. Like you don't have to be planning to stay, but while you're there, you want to be doing these. These are all good for you. Yeah. Number 6 is work well with your coworkers, and that's extensive too. There's certain things that you want to be for them every time, and those make your job way more fulfilling. So even if you were like you hated the actual work you did, like part of your secret mission while you're there is like giving these things to your coworkers, because you're building connections, and it just feels so fun and just satisfying, and then you really start to care about them, no matter how you felt like when you first started. You know, like we all go in just sort of thinking like not knowing what to expect, and we're all there. Like we wouldn't choose to be there unless we, you know, like it's true. Yeah. So, but they become friends when you do this. Like, whether or not you would hang out with them afterwards, like, you love seeing them.
Okay, I have a question.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So, you said that you were shy?
Yes.
How do you said that you wanted to be more outgoing and stuff, so how do you actually do that?
So, okay, so that's a big part of my being in character, is that I want to be someone who's just comfortable talking to somebody. And when I first started massaging, thank goodness it's one-on-one, because that makes it so much easier, you know. But I was terrified to go and greet clients, especially since, you know, people are watching, like you have an audience. I get so nervous about just feeling like I have an audience. But when I first started doing this, being in character, I took it as an opportunity to practice. So I just would smile and talk to them as if I wasn't scared. I would just make myself kind of shut my brain off and start talking and really think about them
and not being shy.
And since it was a game like that, for me, that helps. I made it a game, so I might have blown it. There'd be a day that I wouldn't do it well, but it was okay because I could play again tomorrow, So it's not like I'm fantastic all the time. So sometimes I might approach a coworker and then not really know what to say, but you just keep playing, getting better at it, because it does change you. I'm so different than I used to be. So, was that, did I answer that?
Yes.
Okay. So then, so working well with your coworkers, that was number 6. Number 7 is work well with your boss. And this one's involved too, because you want to find out, your boss's goals for his or her position, and figure out how you can help get them. Yeah. And then, because you want that connection, and you want to find out what his or her responsibilities are, and you want to help them to be able to work more on their priorities. So there's different ways you can do that, and then you figure out how they want to be updated, and you figure out things you can do to make the two of you work more efficiently together. And then you can do things if you identify okay, my boss is a micromanager or whatever, you do different things to figure out how to work better with that person. So yeah, that's number 7. Yeah. And then number 8 is work well with customers, because get things from them too. And it just makes us get better and better, build more skills. And I read the best book about that I recommend in Use Your Job. And so, anyway, it's called Be Your Customer's Hero. But you basically just want to be able to give, stellar service, because, it'll make you better. And the more, the better your name is, and the more connections you make, the better for you and your goals. And then number 9 is increase accuracy and move on from mistakes, because mistakes are still going to happen, but you don't want to get into this like thing where you make a mistake and it throws you off, and then you're like walking on eggshells and like smashing into everything, and making just tons of sense. So that's all about how to how to get past them quickly, and then just to set things up for yourself so that you're more accurate.
Right.
And then number 10 is communicate clearly. And so I talk about it with like writing and speaking and everything, and if you're training somebody and stuff, like that way, it's all skills that can help you, and then just, to make you better. And then number 11 is be productive, and in that one you like identify ways to be more efficient at your job and to give yourself uninterrupted time if that's possible to work on your own priorities. And then number 12 is understand and support the vitals, like from whatever position you're in, and those are the sales and the collections and the profits. So anyway, so when you do all that, like you gain tons of skills that are relevant to your own goal, and you're like, you come out of it someone who can like make things happen that you want to happen, and you don't have to stay at your job. Like if you move on from it, you just start them over in the next job, and you just use it like a staircase. So anyway,
well, for me, because they all sound good. Like, they all sound good. But hearing those 12 steps, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Sorry.
Oh, hearing those 12 steps seems very easy to embark on if you're going into a new job. Like if I'm going into a new job right now, I feel like I can take those 12 steps and use it to the best of my ability to be the best employee. Because I always say, if I do move on, because I've been with my job for like 8 years, so I'm completely depleted. But I know that if I move on, those steps would make me the best employee I feel like I can be. I know that the next time I go off into a different position, I know that I want to use these certain steps, because I'm going to want to move up in the company. I don't ever want to get stuck like I did in this position. I got stuck. I was complacent. A lot of those steps I didn't use, didn't know nothing about. And because of that, I became complacent in a position that I don't want to be in. So what I want to know is, though, how do you exercise these tools when you have been depleted? You try mentally to say to myself, I say, all right, Tasha, how are you going to go to work today and just be the best employee you can be? But I can't, it's hard. So for how can you use these steps in a situation where you're depleted?
I started using them, not totally knowing what I was doing, but I started using these things in one of my jobs where I had been there for like, I guess 7 years by the time I started, and I had been threatened with being fired several times. Like I didn't have a reason before. I was kind of like, I was unsure of myself. I was sort of just like, I was still figuring things out, and so I was doing things like, coming in late sometimes, and like, just reluctant to take on new responsibilities. I was feeling overwhelmed, and so work was like piling up. Like I was just like I wasn't doing well there. And then the shift for me in that job was that I started, like, my boss got into this guy, Darren Hardy, who teaches business owners. Anyway, I started reading his stuff, and I got super into like business development. I thought it was interesting. So I started like trying a lot harder at that job. But I did a lot of these things like not knowing. But I went from my boss daydreaming about my replacement to like letting me work from home, and like, I got a raise. Like that job turned around. Like, and also, so no matter where you are starting from, you would just have to kind of make the switch in your mind. Because when you walk in and make it different, like, it doesn't matter whether your boss recognizes it and is like, oh my gosh, Natasha, thank you, like, oh my god, like, you know, you don't have to get, like, everybody doesn't have to even notice. Like, this is with a game with yourself. So you make the switch in your mind, and then you see, like, for the time I'm gonna be here left, how much can I get out of it? Mm-hmm. And then how much can I practice this stuff so I'm even better at it in the next place? Mm-hmm. You know, like, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good thing to, that, the last part of saying, how can I tap into it now so that if I do decide to go elsewhere, I'm pretty much already practicing the things that I need to do to be a better employee.
Right, yeah.
But have you taken these, so for example, my job, they had somebody come in, I guess he created a whole program where you use like empathy and, you know, it's called, I can't even think the name of it right now, Quest. Oh. And he figured out a way for us to give the patient more. Yeah. And be more involved in helping them with their accounts and stuff like that. Yeah. So now they brought this whole guy in that kind of taught this whole program on how to change our minds on how we deal with the patients. Have you brought have you brought this anywhere yet? Presented it to any companies yet to see if you can?
Yeah, not yet. Sorry,
yet.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Yeah, not yet. Like, so I started this in January, and all I've done so far, because I started as I don't know, I felt like I started as nobody. So I was like, well, I better just like put out a bunch of stuff so people can kind of see what I even want to do, what I want to talk about. So I've been like blogging and social media, and then these 2 books. I would love for it to turn into something like that. Actually, I think it would be really fun. Yeah. And I thought about that because my boss brought in somebody at one point to like talk to him about like, you know, stuff he could do better, and it just seems so fun. I don't know. Like,
I mean, for him, for the guy, I'm sure it was fun. Like he created a whole, just how you created a whole step on how to become a better employee. Yeah. He created a whole program that they taught the whole company. So everybody, they call it Questified. Yeah. So everybody had to get Questified and eat, you know, because it's a call center, you know, and just a lot of people, they had it in, you know, different training classes. Yeah. Well, they had different classes in the whole center, and they took it, I think the whole company, you know, latched onto this, and everybody had to learn it. And this seems like something that will be amazing for you to pitch to different companies. Like, this is how I can get you guys to have better employees, or, you know, more productive employees, you know? Yeah. Or even if you teach like a little class of people, like, listen, if do you hate your job? Do you feel like you're in a dead-end position? Right. This is what we can do, you know? Yeah. And like, so, because I feel like these steps are amazing, especially, I think for me, like I said, it would be so hard for me to utilize this in the position that I am now. It would be beneficial for me to use these in the position that I'm in right now. But I can see me stepping into a new situation and actually using these to benefit me to get where I need to be. Yeah. So I think it would be a good idea to kind of pitch it like to different companies, or even have a crash course. Yeah. If you hate your job, come see me. Yeah, I love it actually. Yeah. And what kind of research did you do to come up with these 12 steps?
Well, a lot of it was things that I figured out over time in some of my jobs. I really did a lot of thinking about what I wish I'd known in some of my jobs, like what would have helped and what did help me. And then I was reading so much of like what other people were doing and like to motivate employees, and so I was reading about what employees need, and I was just thinking, like, you know, if you want a job that's like fulfilling, that like serves a higher purpose. Like, how can you get that from a job that's like, you know, where you don't feel like it serves a higher purpose? Like, you know, and so then I got these ideas about like doing things for your coworkers, like, you know, giving it meaning that way. And then I don't know, I was researching, like, you know, when employees need recognition, like, or we want to use our talents, like, how do we get that if we're trying to do it ourselves? Anyway, like, it was a long process.
Right. So
yeah. And it was a combination of things. Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Do you think, have you seen these 12 steps, other than yourself, have you seen these 12 steps put into action and really working?
Like that first time, and I said be in character. I saw where somebody had written about doing something called, like, it's showtime when you walk into work. And they talked about, they didn't use it for like developing yourself, like developing a skill, but they talked about how, you know, when you walk in, you are at your best, and so you tell yourself, okay, it's showtime, I'm gonna be myself at my best, and then you go in there and you're professional the whole time. So I did see that, but I feel like doing it with your own purpose would make it just way more fun and easier to do every time, and so and help you develop skills that you actually really need.
Yeah.
So
I think it is important to find the purpose. When I do get to a place where I'm like, okay, Tasha, you have to do something, I do know that finding the purpose, like, okay, you're gonna do this because you're trying to get to this.
Right.
It does make it easier, but like I said, it's hard to keep that same energy.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, this phone is beeping after beeping after beeping. So it's like, how do you keep that same energy where you're wanting to be motivated? You're using this as a tool and saying, okay, boom, I want X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So with that, this is the goal. You know, I'm going to make sure that I'm always on this same beat.
Yeah.
It makes it hard.
Right.
It does.
I know. I mean, I can see it. Like, I could totally see it. I get that.
But I do see that I'm telling you, using those skills can definitely make you a better employee.
Yeah.
I definitely, because I see people use these skills every day.
Yeah, right.
You know, but is keeping on that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
That would be the hardest thing for me.
Yes.
So, where is your book now? Like, if anybody wanted to go out and purchase your book, where can they go purchase it?
So it's on Amazon. So if you can I link my author page in the description? So so we'll link my author page in the description. But if you just went on Amazon and you searched "Use Your Job," Joan Elmore, or the other book, "To Employers and Managers," is "As It's People." And if you search that, Joan Elmore, then you find it. Yeah.
Okay, so Amazon, and let me see. I'm trying to see what I have going on here. And what inspired you to write your second book?
Well, one of my other goals, like, so I want to help people to be happy and fulfilled at work. But one of my other goals was that I want to help everybody to work better together and like understand each other. Because what I was noticing from like things I was reading, like I was reading a lot from employees too, and a lot of articles and things written from employees to their employers, and it just seemed like there's always kind of this like you know, everybody's against each other in a way, not against each other, but it just felt like there was this like everybody's a little bit resentful, like everybody's like, why can't you do this for me? Employers are like, why don't you care? And employers are like, why don't you care about me? And so I just thought, you know, I want to help them too. Like, I want to talk to employers and managers and HR professionals and help them to get happiness and fulfillment from their own role, but help them get high performance from their employees in a way that's gonna like make everybody happy.
Right.
So like as soon as I kind of had it in my mind while I was writing the first book, like, okay, I'm gonna do the same kind of thing for like this other group. as soon as I'm done. So I published the first one in July, and then I started right away to write the second one. So the second one is also a 90-day challenge, and so every day, like, they get something to do, like that they have to do that day, and it's all to help employees to have like the recognition that they want. There's so many different ways to give it. So there's like different ways through the book, and to help them like to learn how their employees, each one is motivated, and like to help them to let this job connect with their employees' personal values a little better, and help it support their personal goals. Like so anyway, there's just 90 days full of stuff about that.
Okay. Yeah. And if people want to contact you or learn more about you, where can they find you on social media?
I'm on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I'm not like fantastic at video yet. It's very scripted. But I do have the best place to find my websites, and you can get anywhere from there. It's useyourjob.com.
Okay.
It's easy to remember.
Okay. And what are some encouraging words you can give to people that want to write a book but they're scared or they feel discouraged, or any little thing like, oh, maybe I can't do it, and what would you say to encourage them through the process?
Just like, I mean, this is probably so cliche, but just start and just do it the way you're speaking, which was something that I heard recently somewhere. And it's such good advice because, like, back when I was writing my very first book, the one I haven't published yet, I felt it was really daunting to me because I was like, oh gosh, I gotta sound a certain way. Like, I have to sound like an expert, like, you know, like super professional. I don't really know how to do that. But like, what really helped me to flow and go so fast with these was that I didn't try that. Like, I just wrote the way that I talk. Like, I just pretended that I was talking to a friend. So whether you're writing something like fiction or nonfiction, just like let it be your voice, because like, it'll be more natural anyway, and it'll be easier to do. And then like, if you've got if you know you hit a wall, just like don't keep coming back to it. Like, don't stop.
Don't give up on it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have writer's block?
Actually, only a couple of times. Like, but like I love writing. Like, it feels like fun to me. But there were a couple of times, like when I'd been interrupted for like the 10th time, and like I had a certain subject I was talking about, because like that day it was like a certain thing. So like, and I just like I lost what I felt like were my right words. Then I would get like it's super frustrating. Like, I would get super frustrated. But when that happened, I would kind of like just take a break and get like a snack or something and listen to something like on YouTube or something, and like just kind of do something with my hands and like, I don't know, fold laundry or something while I was listening to YouTube videos, and then it would sort of like get me going again.
Any more questions? That was a good question.
Yeah.
No. Okay, so guys, you know where to go if you want to find out more information on these 12 steps. So if you're interested in getting details on how you can use these 12 steps and become better employees, you better hit her up. She gave the website, right?
Yep.
And then you can get it on Amazon. So definitely check her out, because you sent me the PDF file, and I'm gonna get into it, because no, for real, I really want to be a better employee, because I want to do more in the company, but I feel so stagnant.
Right.
You know, I feel so not motivated. I feel like I don't want to. I don't want to do certain things. It's just I don't want to. But definitely listening to the 12 steps, I can see that, okay, boom, Tosh, if you at least try these steps, you can have a better quality at your job, and it can turn things around for you. Because I did this thing a while ago called the Miracle Morning. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh, I've heard of that, but tell me what, because I've heard of it.
It's like being, I guess, getting more from your day. So you would get up, if I have to be at work at 7, I guess I would get up like at say 5 a.m. or
Okay.
something like that. And then I would get up and I would do things like me time. I would journal, or you can like read, exercise, you know, make tea, whatever things that you would not normally do. You would get up early and you would do that. You strategize, okay, this is what I want for this year. This is what I want from the business. You would use that time to kind of like get your mind in a mode. And then you would, you know, go about your morning. But it just waking up earlier and doing these things would make you feel so much more fulfilled. So when I go to work, when I was doing it, when I would go to work, I would feel like a different person. You know? Like I would just feel like I just did something like, I got up, I done exercise, I had breakfast, I sat down at my table, had my tea, my toast, things that like normally I'm just like, oh my God, it's time to get up. No, get dressed, you know, I'm rushing, and then was always late. So every morning I would get up, I would be late, and you know, now I'm going to work and I'm on the way to work just stressing about being there on time, and dang, I'm late now, and oh my God, you're late, look at this is gonna affect you. So you're already going to work in a stressful situation because you done rushed out, you're rushed to work, trying to rush, you're in traffic and you're late. Now you're late and you're looking like every day I'm late. So your whole mood, you know, it's like horrible.
Been in that.
So the miracle morning with that, I would be up and about early. I would be out the house early. I'm not facing any traffic. I'm not like, oh my God, am I going to be late? You're just free. You know, you're free-minded on the way to work, and it just put you in a different mood. And it was a book as well, so it talked about different different things you can do, affirmations and planning things, trying to get a business started, and just everything. So he talked about how his life had crashed. He was like making 6 figures and something happened and he was pretty much broke and he could not find the motivation. He was depressed, and then he created this thing called the Miracle Morning, where he would get more out of his day, where he would be able to strategize on how to make, you know, have a business or what he want to do. Basically, more time to say, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do. This is how I could get there. I want a better health, exercising in the morning before I go to work. You know, just different things. But when I was doing it, I felt so good. I felt so good. I felt so. If you want to look into it, but I felt so good because I'm doing affirmations. I'm journaling. I'm writing about things. The kids are asleep, so I get to do these things, and it's me time. You know, I don't have to feel like, okay, Talene, do this, Sky, do this. You know, go sit down. It's literally they're knocked out. You're literally at peace with yourself. And you're just sitting there, you're doing whatever, and it's peace.
That sounds so nice. I'm going to get like 5 a.m. tomorrow.
And it was really, really good. But the thing for me is that by noon, I would cry. My body would feel like it's literally about to shut down. Like it's something you have to get used to. So once you do it, he says you naturally your body starts to get accustomed to it, but then you have to go to bed earlier. You know, your whole day starts earlier, but it shuts down earlier.
Be consistent.
But you have to be consistent and do it every day. And after a while, it does explain that you naturally just it becomes a way of life, you know, so it doesn't weigh you down. But it's really, I ended up, you know, falling out of it because I was so tired. But I didn't, you know, I have kids and I'm, you know, got things to do. So the thing is, I wasn't able to make that early bedtime. I think if I was able to make that early bedtime, it probably would have made up and worked out differently. But it really is it was a good tool.
Wow. Oh, I love that. I'm gonna get that book actually. That sounds amazing. Because you're making me think, like, one thing you could just start with is just like prioritizing a personal goal. Like, because there was so many times at work where I just sort of felt like something was weighing on me, like because like I was shelving the things I wanted to do so I could get my boss's goals done. Like, you know, so it changes everything. Like you said, like when you've done stuff to put yourself first, like it does change things. I definitely, so I really feel like these steps can essentially bring you to the next level. Yeah. My thing, which I'm gonna try to do some of the steps one by one and give you some feedback. Yeah. But my thing, because you know, for me, being in a situation I don't want to be in, right. You know, that's what makes it. You know. So, but it will be interesting to see how your steps help me. Get, you know, where I want to be. Yeah. You know, because essentially I have so much years in this company. I'm so knowledgeable about everything, but because my lack of motivation, I'm super stagnant. Yeah. And I feel like if I can just get that motivation, get that drive back, then I can definitely go so far within the company. Right. But it's just like, okay, get that drive. Yeah. You know. Well, I'm just an optimistic person, so I would say anybody can start anywhere. Yeah. Like I would love you to just try it and tell me how it's going. I would love like brainstorming with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it. It's gonna take some time.
Yes, that's fine.
But I like the fact that we had this conversation because now I can think about the job a little differently. It's gonna take some time to kind of get in the groove because I hate that beat. But having a goal, you know, like having a goal and working towards it, you know, trying to be more on your supervisors and you know, just making your relationship with your co-workers a little bit more fulfilling, all those things, because that's really my co-workers relationship. My relationship with my co-workers really is the biggest thing that keeps me going. Yeah. You know, that keeps me above level. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I definitely would be drowning. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get with you and just take my time and let you know, okay, I tried this today. You know, even get some feedback, because I really do want to do better. Yeah. So I'm gonna really get at you and say, okay, boom, I tried this.
Put it to the test.
I'm a procrastinator. Yeah. So how did you like start applying the skills to your life and like be consistent with them?
Well, it got more fun. Like, I don't know, the more I was doing, because I can be a procrastinator with some things, like, but I had already gone through a period where I was in such a slump at work that, like, I guess I was just like, once I started applying some of these things, even before I figured out like exactly where it was all going or what I was going to do with it, like it was so rewarding for me, like with that job where it just started turning around. Like, so that's how I was able to like keep going and not put it off. Right. After that.
When you start to see the effect.
Yeah, like, and really feel it in myself too, because like I said, it started changing me. I started caring about things that I had not cared about before. Like, and so anyway, like, I don't know if that was helpful, but it's kind of, I guess, kind of going back to what I talked about like behavior changes your attitude, and it's probably like what that guy was talking about, where you have to stay in it, like getting up at 5 a.m. for long enough. Yeah. Like, so you just start doing it, and if you,
because what they say, if you do something for how many 90 days, it no longer becomes a chore, it becomes a habit or something like
that. I know what you're talking about. I don't know the number of days, but you're right. Like, there's a certain number of days where, like, it's just kind of like,
if you do it, if you do it something for a certain amount of days, then it just becomes a way of life. Right. You know, it no longer becomes like, oh my God, I gotta think of this. Yeah. I make my bed every morning. So I'm gonna make my bed every morning. In the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I make my bed every morning. You're thinking about it, but then once you start, I don't remember if it's 30 days or I don't remember how many days.
I don't remember either.
But either way,
it's like that.
Yeah, it's like that. If you continue to be consistent, it helps.
Yeah, and you have to know going into it that it's not like it's not like it's gonna be easy forever now. It's not like you're never gonna not want to be there. Like I have plenty of days where I'm like there are 1,000 things I could be doing right now. Like I'm not in the mood to go to work. Like but when you have your own, and I hope, I love my job. I really do, actually. I love this job that I have. And I love the company I'm with. But it's just a fact. Like, you're going to have so many days still where you're not in the mood. But when you know that you have your own purpose, like, you have your own agenda, and it's not like you're doing all these things that are benefiting your boss and your company and your coworkers and your clients, but it's all for you. Like that makes it so much easier to just push through on that day. Like, and it's part of the game. So when you do it really well, you can leave satisfied that like you did it that day. Like so whatever. So
Nice. Any more questions?
No.
All right, so we are gonna let Miss Joan go. I want to thank you again for coming on and talking about your book and sharing these great tools with us, because I know, like I said, these are tools that I definitely can use, and even if it doesn't work out for me here with my position now, I know that definitely anything else I do, I want to utilize these, because I don't ever want to be stagnant in an entry-level position ever again. And you have to utilize these skills if you want to take it to the next level. And I've seen people, maybe obviously these are your 12 steps, but I've seen people use some of the things that you've mentioned, and they're excelling, they're moving up, because they're showing these same skills every day in different ways. So definitely. So guys, thanks for listening to the Traveling Parents of a Single Mom. We out.
Bye.